Hey fellas, and welcome. I'm Anthony Ball, and this is Working on It. And today I want to talk about something that didn't hit me like a wave. It crept in, silent, slow, like a fog rolling in the night. Stress. Not the kind you notice, like the heart racing, panic attacks, the crisis. The kind that becomes your norm. You're still showing up, you're still providing, still grinding. But somewhere along the way, you lose your spark. You snap at your kid over nothing. You lay awake 3 a.m. in the morning, not because anything's wrong, just because your mind won't shut off. You feel tired all the time, even after a good night's rest. And you think this is just life, but it's not. It's stress. Living in your nervous system, like a background program, you forget what's running. And today I want to talk about how it drains your capacity, clouds your mind, disconnects from your body. And often you don't even know it's there. Real wisdom, real strength isn't ignoring the stress and pushing through it and fighting through it. It's learning to work on it before it breaks you. And if you've already been broken, how to come back. This is working on it. Let's get into it. So I'll start with a just like a personal reflection, personal story with my relationship with stress. And it's an ongoing relationship that I'm developing. But I will reflect on a particular moment where, like I was saying at the start, I was going through life, my energy levels were low. I was not connecting with my family, I wasn't connecting with my friends, I was distant, I was somewhere else, even when I was physically there with them. And I had the pressure of the bills and wanting to look after myself, wanting to show up, the standard stuff that we all go through. And it wasn't until I started doing a form of practice. So I was doing breath work at the time and I was neglecting it. I wasn't following through with what I knew that would be good for my nervous system. And it wasn't until after a breathwork session where I was doing a form conscious connected and it was a more prolonged breathwork session, so a more extensive one. And I just realized afterwards, like I was just connected. So I was so inward, so connected to my body that I just felt this is what it should be like. This is what it can be like. So it wasn't until I experienced the relaxation that I could actually recognize that I was in a stress state. I had to experience a practice where I could fully relax and be like, okay, that is what I can cultivate more. And it takes dedication and discipline to be in that because naturally the society that we're in, there's a lot of work and lots of pressures. So naturally we get drawn into the stress state. And that's why it's so important that we do connect with these other practices to help our nervous system relax. And that's what I discovered. That I needed to experience the relaxation before I could truly understand that I was in that stress state. After this reflection, I started to want to dive deeper into stress because I see it in everyone. I see it in friends, family, the people I work with, the mentees that I work with, the instructors and the students that I work with. I just see the subtle underlying stress that is there as a baseline. So I want to understand how it affects us and why we don't see it coming. And this is what I've learned. essentially the hard way, going through the journey myself rather than researching and looking for a mentor or just finding the wisdom from an elder. Right. So first, stress isn't just mental, it's biological. When you're stressed, your nervous system shifts to fight and flight, right? The sympathetic nervous system. The cortisol, the adrenaline pumping, the heart rate up, blood moving to muscles, brain focused on the external, potentially some form of threat. It doesn't have to necessarily be threat, but like the work task. It's like, I need to get this work task done. And there might be a lot of pressure behind that because it might end with a result. Right? So there's some form of like, okay, I need to make sure this happens so it gets a good outcome. And that is the threat in the modern day. And it's great if you're being chased by a tiger, but generally speaking, that's not happening. But when the threat is an email, a deadline, or your kid's school bill, you don't run, you sit. And the energy gets trapped. And over time, it becomes, or it can become, chronic stress. And that rewires your brain and your body. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that thinks clearly, makes decisions, and regulates emotions, starts to go offline. Your physical resilience drops, more injuries, slow recovery, lower libido. Your sleep suffers, not because you can't fall asleep necessarily, but that could be a case, but because your nervous system won't let you stay calm because of that external threat. Your emotional bandwidth shrinks. You love your people, but you're irritable, distant, and checked out. And here's the kicker, is that you stop noticing because stress becomes your baseline. You don't feel anxiety anymore. You feel normal. You don't feel drained. You feel busy. And as it says in The Body Keeps the Score, you can't process trauma while you're still in survival mode. And chronic stress is survival mode. This is the same from what Gabor Mate says, is that he teaches that stress isn't just external, it's internalized. The man who says, I'm fine, while his body screams otherwise, that's not strength, that's a pure disconnection. And the cost, you lose capacity, you can't lead well, you can't love well, and you can't even rest well because your body doesn't know how to downshift. You haven't allowed it, you haven't created space, you haven't taught it how to downshift. Now, here's what most men don't realize, or they're just trying to avoid and neglect it, is that stress does not just affect you, it affects everyone around you. At home, you're present in body, but you're absent in spirit. Your partner feels alone. Your kids learn not to interrupt dad when he's working. At work, you're reactive, impatient, short-sighted. You make decisions from fear, not clarity. And you confuse urgency with importance. And ironically, the harder you try to control everything, the less you control you actually have. Because stress narrows your vision. It makes you reactive. It turns presence into performance. And eventually you don't intervene, you tip over the edge, burnout. Not because you failed, but because you kept going when your body was begging you to stop. You ignored the signs because of that perceived external threat. So before we get to any solutions, let's get honest. because quiet burnout hides in plain sight. So I want you to ask yourself, again, no judgment, just curiosity. Just let go of any judgment. We'll be purely honest. And that's the only way we're going to get to awareness here and actually start to change things is through that honesty with yourself. So, do you wake up tired even after a 6, 7, 8 hour sleep? Is your jaw clenched when you check your body? Are you snapping at people over small things? Do you scroll mindlessly to relax, but feel worse afterwards? Has your sex drive dropped and you've just accepted it? Do you feel emotionally flat? Not sad, just nothing. Are you making more impulsive decisions, reacting instead of responding? Do you forget small things, keys, names, appointments? Are you avoiding certain conversations with your partner, your kids, yourself, with your work colleagues, your friends? And the last one, when was the last time you truly rested? Not slept, but felt restored. And if two or more of these feel true, you're not weak, you're not lazy, you're carrying stress you haven't named. And that's okay. Again, awareness and that honesty is the first step to making that shift, to making that change. So, where am I now with my relationship with stress? I'm still learning, like I mentioned at the start. It's a consistent balance that I'm trying to find. And I'm making good progress, I would say, for myself. Although I will say in this moment in time, I am more in that stress state. And I know I need to get that down to these practices because a lot of this the talk is also for me to work on and to keep my awareness on it. And I used to believe stress was a sign of weakness. And now I see it more of a sign of feedback, like the dashboard with a light. When it starts to flicker, it's like, okay, we need to do some maintenance here. We need to do some checks. So let's check in with the body. So I've had to reframe everything. Stress is not the enemy. Chronic, unmanaged stress is. Healthy stress can be used as a fuel. If you think of a tough workout, it stresses the body, then you recover and you grow stronger. And that's how I like to see the healthy form of stress. It's temporary, purposeful, and it's followed by rest. When stress becomes constant with no recovery, it stops building you, it breaks you. So I've put together some small practices into my day, not to fix myself, but to help myself stay connected to my body more. So here's 5 simple exercises to reduce stress and claim your nervous system and to help regulate your nervous system. So the first one is just 90 seconds of slow breathing through the nose, 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. It resets your nervous system. Do it before a meeting, after calls, before bed. Walk without distraction. So no phone, no podcast, just feet on earth. Let your mind settle. 5 minutes is the minimum, and it's enough. Try and do it barefoot if you can, and try and walk on grass, dirt. Like just really ground yourself. Cold exposure, and this is even just a cold shower. Right, 30 seconds at the end of your shower. It really just like awakens the body. That alertness comes back, it refreshes you, and it helps to train your resilience, especially if you can keep in control of your breathing during that time. Teaches you, I can be uncomfortable, but still stay present. The fourth one, do a body scan. Lay down, scan from the feet to the head, going through all parts of the body and seeing where's the tension. Is it in the jaw, the shoulders, the chest, the stomach, the abdomens? Just scan through and notice. And when you're scanning, just keep it wherever the tension is, keep your awareness there and allow yourself on the exhale to bring some relaxation into that area and see if the exhale can help release that tension. And number 5, do a daily reset breath. After work, before walking into the house, take one deep inhale through the nose and a long exhale through the nose or the mouth. Just make it nice and long. And just say to yourself, I'm here now. Leave work at work, and it will help bring you home. And if I notice the signs of irritability, fatigue, emotional flatness, I don't push harder because now I know capacity isn't built on grinding. It's built by recovering. So what do we do if we've already tipped over into burnout? You've already gone past the edge. You start here. So first, stop trying to fix it. Just rest. Focus on rest. Not passive scrolling, not Netflix, not whatever else it is, not junk food and maybe alcohol, whatever you go to bring that relaxation. Just go for real rest. Sleep, silence, nature, breathing. Let your system come back online. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to justify it. You just have to allow it. And when you start to come back, don't jump straight back into the fire. Rebuild slowly. One of my clients came to me after around 6 months of complete withdrawal. He said, I thought I'd lost everything, my drive, my passion, my identity. But over time, with rest, with breath work, support, he began to return. And he actually now schedules, he calls them energy audits every week. Protects his mornings like it's his mission. And says no. And most of the time with no guilt. Sometimes he still feels guilt, and that's okay. He can still feel it, but he says no and he owns it. And he allows whatever other emotions are there to be present. And that's a big one for a lot of nice guys in this world. They really struggle to say no, and they're consistently pushing past their boundaries because of this other guilt that they feel or other emotions that they feel when they do say no and hold their ground. And he's now more effective, and not because he's working more, he's actually working less, but because he's present. And that's the shift. So if you're listening now and you feel tired, wired, short focused, or just numb, ask yourself, have I normalized stress? And am I running on empty and calling it strength? You're not broken. It's just you're disconnected. Like many people in this world, like many men. And the way back isn't more hustle. It's more honesty with yourself, with your loved ones. So try this today. Just take 3 minutes, sit, breathe, feel the body. And when your mind races, don't fight it. Just say, I see you. And come back to the breath. This is leadership. This is you stepping into the king and looking after yourself, looking after your inner kingdom. It's where wisdom lies. It's responsible. Because the most powerful thing a man can do in a culture of noise and speed is pause, breathe, and reconnect. This is Anthony Ball. You're working on it. Keep showing up, not just in your mind, but in your body, your breath, and your life. You can contact me at info@letsgetlostbarley.com. You can follow me on Spotify, on YouTube, and on Instagram at workingonit.menspodcast. You can send me a DM. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, keep working on it.